as more and more companies try to implement use cases that need to do things in real time, make decisions in real time, collect data in real time, show dashboards in real time, you have to build an architecture that's able to collect data in real time. And the protocol or the language of real time is publish, subscribe. So increasingly what you're seeing is sensors growing up speaking pub sub, and the different data architecture speaking pub sub, and just everything built around this kind of hub and spoke pub sub system at the edge. Next, what we're seeing is these modern computer vision algorithms are paving the way for what I've been calling video as the Uber sensor. So I'm working with several customers who have kind of had this realization that if you want to gain more visibility into your operations, there's a couple of ways you can go about it. One is you can place a lot of little sensors out there to do very specific things. So in the case of a field, you can place humidity sensors everywhere, or in the factory, there's vibration, temperature. You can place all these sensors everywhere and try to get all of that data in and make decisions based on it. Or you can just place a video camera somewhere where each pixel of that video is in fact a sensor, but you only had to put one thing in one place. And what's interesting about this is you can actually see more with a video frame than you can with, in some cases, thousands of sensors. So one example is a semiconductor, not a semiconductor, a PCB manufacturer, so printed circuit boards, the stuff that goes in all the electronics. Of course they have lots of sensors along their line, but they only tell them if their machinery is working. They didn't have any sensor that said, is the thing that machinery built defective or is it high quality? Which meant that they had to ship it to another facility, do a power on self-test, and only then would they realize if it was good or bad. And by then they'd already spent all the shipping money, and now they have to bin it and have all these processes. So what they did was they just put a video camera at the end of their production line that took pictures of all the PCBs as it went down, and then they spent a little bit of time collecting that data and marking which of those pictures were for defective PCBs, which ones were the good PCBs, and then they just turned on the algorithm so that as the boards went down the line, it would take a picture, and the algorithm would say, it's a good PCB, let it go. Bad PCB, a hand would come over, knock it off, and they'd keep the line going. That's one example. You see a lot of this in agriculture because fields are big. You can put a lot of sensors out there, or you can fly a drone overhead with a video camera on it and get even more level of detail if you just apply the right algorithms to it. So I think increasingly we'll see video being used as a surrogate or Uber sensor in these locations. But pair that with the fact that a lot of these use cases are being put in far-flung locations where they have either not a whole lot of internet bandwidth or it's unreliable. So a lot of times on oil platforms, they'll try to use satellite as a means to do internet connectivity, or 3G, 4G. And when it's up and there's no clouds and things like that, it's probably got enough bandwidth to handle everything. But a cloud rolls over, now you have no connectivity. So you don't want to be in a situation where a cloud rolls over and that's just the time when your thing's about to fail. Or you're, in case of oil wells, we don't want anything to dump into the ocean. So now you've got these two competing things. So lots and lots more data getting collected at a higher frequency, but crappy internet connections preventing you from doing anything useful with it. Luckily, our friend Gordon Moore and his law have made it such that the computing power that you can put at the edge and your ability to store data locally at the edge has gotten to the point where you can actually implement really interesting use cases in small form factors. So this is kind of the solution to collecting more and more data, can't send it across. You have to compute it locally, and this is the whole basis behind edge computing.